I wonder if your Majesty has a theory about art. I would hope so, my dear. After all, I own approximately $1 billion worth of artwork. I would be honored to know what your Majesty thinks about the topic. Well, for one thing, I favor representative art over the modernistic so-called abstract works. Is that because abstract art implies something that offends your sense of life? Abstract art seems to befuddle the mind. I like to think clearly and see things realistically. But are your sensory impressions and thoughts equivalent to reality as it is? Of course not, or one wouldn't need measuring devices and instruments or critical testing to discover truth. So the way a thing appears or seems is not really how it is. That is true, but I can't see how bizarre images bring you any closer to understanding. It might have to do with the fact that the mind uses concrete symbolism to process truths gained through experience or instruction. I suppose you are alluding to dream images. I am. And I suppose you think that the mind best discovers truth when the unconscious depths present a concrete symbol to the awareness. I tend to think so. But in that case, the meaning can never be expressed in linear logic, and there is a risk that symbolism is not universal. You are saying that there could be too much meaning and that it might be too personal. So what you are seeing then is the contents of the personal subconscious, which only have meaning to the artist and communicate nothing useful to anyone else. That is one of my concerns. What else bothers you? I am not amused at the apparently sloppy execution. It often seems like there is no skill or accuracy required. But if art is just essentially about self-expression, why should it require any particular skill? I also think that the artists are far more skillful than they seem. I am sure they are formally educated and are just using a form that seems childish, but I don't know why. Maybe they are reacting against the development of photography and film. Maybe the real business of painting is less representative than expressive, so art branched off from picture making. But isn't it reminiscent of madness or dementia? Maybe genius is related to insanity, and the function of it is pushing the mind into new levels of awareness and areas of exploration. But how can you understand it? Does anyone really understand a realistic image? After all, what is it in its depths? And isn't all representation somewhat of an interpretation? But if I take your picture, it looks like you, and there is no need for interpretation. But isn't the human mind bound to look for meaning in life and not just perception? I suppose we all look for meaning to some degree. And also, my photograph only looks somewhat like me. Obviously it is smaller than me and is affected by lighting and even the mood I am experiencing at the time. You mean there are different perspectives? I mean the process of observing is conditional and also depends on the method of representation that is selected. You do not see reality in its depths by looking at a picture, but you sense that there must be a deeper level. How do you know your mind can grasp it? It could just be imagination. Why is imagination seen as meaningless? Maybe symbolism is a passageway to deep truths about things we perceive with our senses. Why would it be? Because of the principle of synthesis. That sounds like Hegelianism. I think the principle of synthesis is actually older and may go back to Pythagoras or even earlier. It could even have originated in ancient China. How does it work? It works by relating two things by means of a third thing. So inner and outer are related by the act of symbolizing. I suppose you are going to say that is what your subconscious mind does spontaneously. And so true expression must be abstract. You commune with the deeper aspects of the human psyche and find meanings. Of course, I also realize that taste enters into this, and so it could never be completely a matter of fact. At least I can see your point of view. I would also like to add that the human mind seeks and benefits from novelty. Are you speaking of brain health? I mean that, but also something broader. Novelty opens up entire new worlds of possibility and can lead to problem solving. Am I in a rut? I don't use my own thinking to criticize others, but only to cultivate and extend my own mind. I only know that I would wish to escape definiteness into a realm of larger possibilities. It seems that could happen even without abstract art. Yes, but when the artist is telling you something definite, it is almost like hypnosis. But if he knows better than I do, shouldn't I listen? Interpretation and application of any truth is always personal. In a way, truth is subjective. So abstract art expresses the spirit of modern times. Well, it certainly would not have occurred in the Middle Ages or early modern period. So it is not degeneration but expansion of the human spirit? Is that what you are saying? Time will test all things, but I believe that abstract art has and will survive the test of time.